Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy, and today we're looking at the M1903 Experimental. It's one of the standout weapons in Battlefield 1 Scout class, as it's just so different to everything else on offer. It's also supposedly somewhat more viable now since the TTK patch. So just how viable is it? Where does it shine and where does it fall short? Well, let's get right into it and find out. And I think the best way to start this off is to say the Experimental is kind of like the C96 trench of the Scout class. Both weapons do the same damage, a max of 34.73 and a minimum of 15 according to Sympathic.com. They then both have 41 rounds available per reload and require the same amounts of bullets to kill at all ranges. We'll look at that in greater detail soon, because I should mention the key differences first between the Experimental and the C96 trench. To put it into basics, the M1903 Experimental has better recoil than the C96, but has worse hipfire spread, so you can spam bullets out of the Experimental and see barely any kick at all. It really is absolutely minuscule, but for hipfire it's a little less reliable, which is to be expected considering the C96 is an assault weapon. I also personally think that the C96 has clearer sights than the Experimental, and this is one of the significant downsides of the weapon for me. Somewhat more open sights will be a great boost to the weapon for a player such as myself who struggles with tight sights, but it's not bad enough to have too large an impact on my gameplay most of the time. And so, let's get to the aforementioned bullets to kill, and at this point I'll bring in a comparison with the autoloading factory and extended of the medic class, because the Experimental, the C96 and the autoloading all fire at 359 rounds per minute, so it gives us another good framework from which to compare and deduce how viable the Experimental is. So, at close range all three weapons will kill in 3 bullets, and if you've used the autoloading, you know exactly how dangerous this can make you as an aggressive player. However, the Experimental, having the same damage drop off as the C96 trench, sees its bullets to kill begin to increase from just 13 meters out. It then requires 5 at 19 meters, 6 at 26 meters, and 7 at 33 meters. For comparison's sake, the autoloading extended only requires 4 at 33 meters out, and the factory requires just 3. So basically, it's a good job you've got all that ammo available, because you're likely to need it if you want to step out of super close quarters combat from time to time. You can try thinking of the Experimental as an extremely lethal close-range medic rifle with the ability to spam bullets out quickly and do high damage, but at the same time you have a rapid, progressively increasing damage drop-off to the point that it eventually feels like you're barely hurting the enemy at all. Hence the title of this video, Forced Aggression. If you want to take full advantage of this weapon, then you'll need to be either pushing the enemy hard or sitting in a high traffic area so that you can fully utilize its high damage output at close quarters. This is of course the entire point of the M1903 Experimental. It's the antithesis of what you usually experience from your recon or scout class. It gives you the opportunity to play in a style at the complete opposite end of the spectrum. So why should you? Is it good enough to warrant picking the weapon over other options? Well, for some people it will be. To me it's kind of like using a bad medic weapon. Yes, it's super lethal at close quarters, but there are other options in the medic class that allow you to do the same thing whilst having better range capabilities. The main reason to choose the M1903 Experimental that I can think of is to pair it with spotting flares, because it really does give both you and your team a big advantage using them, but it also plays in nicely to the strengths of the Experimental, as you can find out exactly where the enemy are and go and pick them off nice and quickly with a hard push. If you can then keep a support at your side to constantly resupply those flares, then you can do some real damage. But this is all just my opinion. What do you think? Do you like the M1903 Experimental, or have you never really given it a try? Let me know in the comment section below. Now we need to quickly shoot over to the Board of Awesome to show our respect to the fantastic people who choose to support the channel on Patreon. They are really helping to keep the channel going at the minute, and it's massively appreciated. Thanks to everyone on here. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, then the link to the Patreon page will be in the description below and in my pinned comment, where you can support the channel from as little as $1 a month if you so wish. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos, especially as YouTube currently aren't putting all your subscriptions into your subscription box for some reason. Yes, honestly, that is genuinely a thing they're doing, and feel free to like, favorite, and subscribe. I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters.